The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? That quiet
What's
enough?
up?
I had a very loud "What's up," and then they told me I couldn't use that. I had to be quieter.
Killed it.
Telling the deaf kid he's got to be quiet.
Just like that Cavaliers win streak. Gone.
Celtics put the one in 15-1, and
Sure did. There's 2 ones in 15-1. Just for the record, to be clear.
Fair, Abigail, with your nitpicking.
It's got kids learning to count right now, Forsberg.
I'm having tons of issues tonight. So, Celtics defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers. It never got dicey. What's your big takeaway?
I have many. I loved so many things about this game. Number 1, vintage Al Horford.
Ooh.
That was awesome.
I didn't think you were going to lead off with the vintage Al Horford. I'm impressed.
Number 2, just the ultra competitive spirit you saw from this Celtics team up and down the lineup. There was a moment in the third quarter or fourth quarter when the Cavs were on a run and Jayson Tatum came over to the sideline and was like pumping up the crowd, which you never see. No, and we saw Derrick White with a holster his 3. Drew Holiday was waving the 3.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Sorry, I'm getting there. So that was my second thing. My third thing.
Third thing.
I don't know why I'm counting like this. I should be doing it with my ring. I gotta come up with a fourth thing. All right, the third thing was the defense in the first half. That was incredible and really getting back to the Celtics that we have come to expect.
Do you have any other things here on the Abby Talk podcast?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
That's it. For now.
Let's take your things in order then. Al Horford, when he broke out in transition in the fourth quarter, I gave a little, Poor Tom Giles next to me, I literally was like, what is he doing? And then he perfectly set up a 3-point play, right? And I don't know, like, I know we've had a couple extra days off here.
Yeah.
Some of us might have even snuck away for a couple days. But
didn't come back. In your case.
Oh, yeah.
Zoomed in.
Zoomed in and then came back.
South Carolina.
And then it's parts unknown. And then
You look tan. I'm sorry. Go.
No, but then Al just makes things happen, and I don't know. At some point, I'll stop being surprised by this, right? That Al is just with multiple days off. We should have known he'd be great, but he had such a good night Saturday against Toronto.
Were you really surprised?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Not like stunned, but breaking out in transition and making the right play. That was a little whoa. Otherwise, I mean, imagine being Kenny Atkinson. You coached this guy like 3 decades ago in Atlanta.
Now he's raining threes down on you with zero hesitation.
You have to be sitting there going, "What happened?" You know,
Kenny Atkinson did that.
Well, yeah. So
started that development for Al.
Look what he created his own problem.
No question. And we talk so much about just how competitive Peyton Pritchard is, Joe Mazzulla. You got to put Al right up there. I mean,
when it matters.
And when the games get big, when the moments get big, Al steps up.
Celtics defense, you mentioned 48 points for the Cavs in the first half.
20 in the first quarter, which was their they have been phenomenal in the first quarter, leading the league in first quarter scoring, and the Celtics held them to just 20. And especially after Joe Mazzulla spoke so much pregame about individual defense, and the Celtics came through.
It's just, I mean, they were the number 1 offense ahead of the Celtics. Even, you know, as good as the Celtics have been, it was jarring to see that the Cavs were actually almost a full point ahead of them in offensive rating. And Celtics just came out, and this is what I expected, right? Big stage, you knew they were going to be motivated, and they haven't quite been dialed in defensively to this point. And yet... Opening night
against the Knicks.
Fair. I would chalk some of that up to emotion, too. Like, you know, not that there's not emotion in this, but I do think... You need to stop. We'll get there.
Do I?
And, you know. But people listening on the audio version are going to be so confused by everything that all these interjections when Abby's ring is being flashed all over the place. So, I do like that they were able to dial it up. And it's a reminder that, almost like Al, when it matters, this team will be able to lock into the championship level of play that we've seen in past year.
And I feel like, for me, I can understand why they can't get to that level every night.
Really?
Yes.
You can't bring it every night?
I mean, I don't have that level. This is my level. I'm at a consistent 7.5. Like the Celtics have an 11 when they need it. And I feel like what's incredible about the talent discrepancy for them right now, which was on display. I mean, the fact they don't have Kristaps Porzingis yet.
But maybe
and they were
soon.
able to dominate the way that they did, especially in the first half. How do you mentally get yourself up to know that you have to bring that
on a Saturday night
level
against the Toronto Raptors?
Yes.
Yeah,
or perhaps on a Friday night against the Washington Wizards.
No, point differential is a thing now, and there's going to be
true.
some serious motivation for anyone who wants to go to Las Vegas. So,
Scal wants to go to Las Vegas.
But I get
so bad.
Your point is valid, right? Like over the course of 82, it's going to be tough to necessarily find the things that prod you along at times. And tonight,
when you know that you are that much better.
What is funny though is that even on a night where they had motivation, they still managed to take their foot off the gas a little bit in the third quarter.
Again, mentally. No. Mentally.
Oh, I get you.
Yes. When you know that you can dial it up and lock in, flip that proverbial switch.
Would have been good if they did it before it got down to 2 with a chance to tie.
Were you really concerned?
No.
At any point?
You know what? The only thing that gave me pause was the fact that Cleveland has been super good in crunch time. So, like, their differentials have been out of control, 7-0 in crunch time, 7-1 now. But, I just sort of figured the Celtics had no problem scoring against them in crunch time. That's really encouraging. And they got the stops when they necessarily needed to. So, I'm not. You know that me. They're nice. I come on and nitpick. I'm not nitpicking anything about this. This happens in games against a really good opponent. Yeah. It's clear. I'm glad we don't have to wait long. December 1, we'll get another Cavs game.
Yes.
And, hopefully
they're a little more healthy.
Right.
Right. We should point out they were missing a few key wing defenders.
More than a few. And now look, Georges Niang played way above what he would normally give for an output. And, Donovan Mitchell was great at the finish line. Like, look, everybody else kind of turned it up a little bit. They will be better when Okoro's back, especially LeVert, who just tends to kill this team. Yeah. But no excuses.
D Wade's had some big games against the Celtics as well.
Maybe Kristaps Porzingis will be back out there too.
December 1st?
Never know.
Forsberg. Are you breaking news right now?
I'm not breaking news. The faithful listeners of the Celtics Talk podcast know that I have been bullish on the fact that it will be, when the news first came out, we all sort of thought, like, oh, maybe Christmas, maybe late December. I suspect it'll be earlier.
So, while I find that encouraging and exciting, I would caution.
Nope.
Take your time,
Nope.
Kristaps. Take your time.
If you need another podcast after you finish listening to this one, you can go listen to this morning's podcast where I answered mailbag questions. And you'll
I did listen to that on my way in, actually.
Oh, cool. And you'll hear Kristaps Porzingis actually talk about in that episode where as soon as he's getting the green light, he's going on the court because he's sick of sitting around doing nothing.
Well, I would like him healthy
for
about,
ain't gonna happen.
What is it, 4 or 5, 6 months from now?
Yes, exactly.
That's what matters to me.
That is the most important.
Yes.
Back to tonight.
Okay.
What else was on your list? What was the other thing?
The competitive spirit, which we kind of discussed.
Yeah, fair.
How about
yes.
Jayson Tatum? Another
MVP level.
Flirting with that, triple-double. And putting on an MVP level performance so far this season.
I am surprised he hasn't gotten has he got a triple-double this year? No?
No.
No.
He's been this close.
He's
it's the assists.
like every night. But look, I think we say coming into the year he'd probably flirt a lot of nights because he's going to have the assist total now. The rebounding will depend on who else is out there. And the points, well, that's never a problem. So I did like that he put a stamp on this game almost immediately.
Yes.
And to flip it, like Jaylen Brown, not having a great night, but 7 assists were good. At the finish line when they needed him, throwing in some circus shots and making the big plays. I love that he can kind of dust himself off on a night he could have been frustrated, some whistles against them, both the Jays, and still find a way to get him to the finish line.
And he really is stepping up for this team at an MVP level, doing so many things. And you said set the tone, but for me, with Jayson tonight, it was his work on the boards and boxing out Evan Mobley repeatedly. I mean, that is a guy who has, more than a few inches on him. And being able and willing to do that kind of dirty work to help his team and then inspire. How can anyone slack off when Jayson is doing things like that?
We must say there was one other MVP on the floor tonight. Tony Brothers, just the absolute.
Oh my God! I didn't realize he was here, and then that first foul call, I was like, "What?" Oh, God!
I'm not even sure there was any other official on the court because Tony seemed to be the only one who wanted to blow a whistle tonight.
There was a female official who Al
really?
sure was well aware at one point. Yeah, the foul that the Celtics challenged.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, that was not, I want you to know.
Well, they upheld it, so
I don't know.
told her thing.
Yeah, sorry.
But Tony Brothers tried his best to leave his mark on this game, but not even that was enough to bring the Celtics down to earth. All right, we've waited long enough. I was going to wait to the second segment, but just have your fun. Show it. If you're listening on the audio version, Abby is grinning from ear to ear with her new championship ring. What was just today they decided, okay, we're going to give it to you?
Yes, I mean, the team had a big party, I think, over the weekend.
Were you invited?
No. So,
well, not everything.
I'm not complaining. I am more than happy and grateful for.
Hey, are you worried they're gonna come take it back?
Yes, I'm trying to. And I've been so nervous all night. I've just been carrying this plastic bag with the ring in its box around. I wore it for like 5 minutes on our pregame show.
Yes,
and I was just so nervous. It's like I don't want to break it. It fits perfectly though, Chris.
It does not fit any of my fingers.
So
I tried
shiny.
because I was gonna steal it. But. What you missed too is that Abby came over and first it was like Fort Knox trying to get the bags and everything open. But then there's a box and you open it and it's spinning. And I was like, oh, well, how long can that box possibly spin for? And she goes, oh, it's rechargeable.
There's a battery.
Like rechargeable boxes now with spinning rings. I would just put that on display at your house. Maybe not. I won't say that because then people will come break into your house. So hide it in a vault somewhere not at home.
That's the plan.
Okay.
I do wonder where I'm going to wear this to again. Where I'm going to wear this to.
I would find any occasion. Oh, I need to pick up the kids at school. Looks like I'm throwing on the ring.
Yeah?
Yes, 100%. I would be
like driving.
What else am I gonna flex on people?
Swim lessons?
Dance carpool. Hey kids, look who's driving tonight.
I will say.
Oh, she hesitated.
No, I was gonna. We're going to my husband's family for Thanksgiving.
Yes, and
the Celtics happen to be off, and his mom was like, "Make sure you bring the ring."
Of course.
I was like, "Oh, okay." I gotta That's so scary to travel with it.
Crossing state.
Can I be trusted with? I'm not responsible enough for this.
That's the fair question.
The problem.
That is. I am scared for you. All right, we have to talk more about the NBA Cup point differential.
Right.
And your trip to Washington, D.C.
I'm so excited. It's a big night. Good night.
Everything is coming up, Abby. All right, here's the rest of our post-game show.
The Black Friday countdown starts now. Drew Carter here with Slam Dunk Specials from Nissan 24.
Lease a new Nissan Rogue for as little as $199 a month. Or lease a new Sentra for as low as $124 a month.
We want to buy your car, and we'll give you top dollar for it. Plus, get 24% off any brake replacement or coolant system services. Score your Black Friday deal before the final buzzer. Shop online at Nissan24auto.com.
Yeah, they were playing Celtics basketball, and Jayson Tatum, once again, another 30-plus point game, 33 points, 12 boards, 7 assists. Eddie House, Michael Holley. Eddie, when you see Jayson Tatum continuously deliver the way he does, and not just against any team. Sure, they've had their lapses against the Hawks and certain teams, but up against the Cavs, when they know that this is going to be a highly anticipated game, and right out the gate, Jayson Tatum continues to lead in that first quarter, being a high efficient scorer. How do you view this guy right now?
As one of the guys that's trying to be the face of the league. And that's what happens. When you are a guy who is, you've been a perennial all-star. You've been a guy that's been all NBA. You go to the Olympics, you win gold medals. It's other goals that you start setting for yourself and standards and levels of where you could try to take yourself. And you push yourself to try to figure out if you could get there. And I think Jayson Tatum is trying to put himself in that category of, I'm the best player in the league. And right now, you could say he's one of the best players because he has proven that. But to be the best player and the face of the league, not only the face of a franchise, but the face of the league, you go out here and you put up these numbers continuously, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Eddie, and you put up these numbers in these games, too. Like Cleveland despite being undefeated coming into the game, Cleveland hasn't been in a lot of nationally televised games. Not a lot of attention on them. They're in Northeast Ohio. You know, it's not one of those premier markets. So tonight, everybody looking at the Celtics and Cleveland, and can the Celtics do something? Can they knock them off? And I think Tatum understands the moment and understands everybody is looking. And he already scaled that mountain last year. I think it weighed on him a bit that he didn't have a championship. Now that he has a championship, as you said, went to the Olympics. Steve Kerr was tripping, but he went to the Olympics anyway, and he was able to win his second gold medal. You can become the face of the league without thinking about it. That's the only thing I would be a little hesitant on, Eddie and Kayla. I don't want him thinking I'm going to be the face of the league. Just go out and ball, win another championship, become a championship hoarder. You know, you get 2-3 championships and you got some charisma about you, the face of the league stuff will happen. But I agree with you, Eddie. His game has gone to another level. He said the other day that Joe Mazzulla has challenged him to dominate, and you can see it. The rebounding has gone up a tick, and his passing has never been better.
Yeah, it's definitely paying off. When you guys say, Eddie, mainly when you said, this guy is so good, he's one of the best, what do you think is separating, or if there's a error or a margin of error? Like, what is it that he can improve on in his game? Like, everything else looks pretty strong and solid. So what is it that may be keeping him from being absolutely here? Because I'm looking at these numbers, I'm like, dang, this guy's good.
Well, I think he's improved on everything every single year. He's got better at something, whether it be efficiency, scoring the basketball, whether it's his shot that he worked on this summer, whether it being a better rebounder or understanding the game that, hey, I could draw two, kick it out to guys that I trust, and they'll knock down those shots. So I think he's progressing in the right way. I can't sit here and say I need Jayson Tatum to do this a little bit more. I mean, I really can't. I think he's doing everything that he can. Can he get better at those things that he's doing? That's the scary part, because I really believe that he can get better at scoring. He can get better at being more efficient. He can get better at reading the game a little, as great as he's doing it right now, because he's still so young. He's still young in this. He's still a young man. You know, he's a grown man, but he's still a young man, and he still has so much more basketball ahead of him. And so as the game progresses, as his game progresses, I should say, the game is going to slow down for him. So all of those things are going to get better. So I feel that he could get better in even though he's gotten better in every category, you know, but I still think that there's, you know, we're looking at the floor, not the ceiling. So the ceiling is what he wants it to be. Yeah, and I believe that he could go wherever he wants to be.
The scary part is that he's 26 years old and balling the way he's balling. And on the flip side of it, you have Al Horford, who's not 26 years old, and he's still able to show up in big ways. He was plus 18 here tonight, 20.7 boards. Michael Holley, this guy was big when you needed him.
Oh, Eddie, you want to talk about age? You want to talk about an inspiration to somebody who says, oh, no, I've reached my peak. It's all over. No. Al Horford was, you remember this, Eddie, you guys played him in the first round of the playoffs in 2007 championship year, 2007, 2008. You guys played him in the first round. Al Horford never left the paint. Al Horford wasn't taking threes in. He didn't take three, but he was a rugged, sharp elbows, 10 rebounds a game, kind of traditional 4/5. And around 28, 29 years old, last year in Atlanta, first year in Boston, he starts shooting threes. Brad Stevens challenged him to expand his game, and this is what you have now. He's playing his best basketball in his 30s, still 38. A defensive presence, still a shooter now that he wasn't when he was 22, 23 years old. I mean, that's an inspiration to anybody who thinks that they're past their prime. Not that I'm saying I'm past my prime, but anybody who thinks they're past their prime, he's an inspiration.
You ain't never passed your prime. 4 or 5 from behind the three here tonight, Eddie. I mean, big.
He knocked down shots, and that was big. But I don't think that those were as big as those 2 blocks that he had. The 2 blocks that he had were timely, because it was a time where this is where Cleveland was trying to make their run. They were trying to come back and trying to get back into the game. But Al Horford was there to block those shots, to keep them from scoring and getting a little closer or getting any kind of momentum. So I look at those, the defensive plays, because people are going to look at Al and say, yeah, he can stretch the floor now. He's worked on his game. And that's usually the evolution of OGs. Like older players, they find a way to stay around. And if it's to make shots, that's all they work on in the summer. But blocking shots, sliding his feet, that one block shot that he had where he slid his feet and Evan Mobley passed the ball, and I think it was Niang that he got that block on. Yep. Those are the things right there to me that stand out more than him knocking down shots. I actually expect Al to make every open shot that he takes, but to do the things that he did, in the paint, rebounding the basketball, being the catalyst of the defense at this, and I don't even care whatever age it is, but being the catalyst of the defense and doing what he does, it just shows that, the winning. Everybody forgets that Al Horford is a winner. Went back-to-back in college. He is a world champion with the Boston Celtics. He's a winner. I don't know what his high school resume looked like, but I'm damn sure. I'm damn sure that he probably won in high school too. And so just the winning plays and his small things that people might look at the points, people might look at how he shot from the field, but it's the little things, and it might not may not show up on the stat sheet. It might not be a block, but it could be a contested shot to make the dude miss and somebody else gets the rebound. It's those small things, those small details of winning that Al brings to the table. And I'm damn sure he's on this side of it than on the other side of it.
Eddie, you just gave him the title for his film, The Evolution of the OG. That couldn't have been, you couldn't have said that better. The evolution of the OG with a picture, get a picture with Al Horford there. I like that. That's a good marketing campaign.
He deserves it too. I mean, this guy, I remember being in Charlotte and seeing LaMelo Ball pull him out. He went 1-on-1, and I'm sitting on the sidelines, and I'm like, oh boy.
Right.
Oh boy. But Al Horford continues to deliver, and he did so here tonight.
All right, back here on Celtics Postgame Plus, and just the first of 4 regular season games against Cleveland. And you don't have to wait long for the next one, December 1st. So inside 2 weeks before the Celtics make their way to Cleveland to take on the Cavs. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that one. Tom Giles, Chris Forsberg back with you here on Celtics Postgame Plus. Got Eddie House alongside as well. And, yeah, I mean, you're already looking forward to December 1st because this game, even though the Celtics led by 21 at one point, Chris, this game lived up to the hype.
Maybe the Cavs will be undefeated at that point. Oh, no, they won't.
See what you did there.
They won't be. So look, I feel like what I liked best about tonight's effort was it felt like this was going to be a superstar game, right? And Jayson Tatum came out, left his imprint all over this game, clearly showed why he should be in that MVP conversation. And this is what MVP players do on the biggest of stages. Go out there and impose their will, just from setting the tone of the night to coming up big when they needed him to, even when the whistle wasn't going his way.
Yeah, Eddie, what did you think about not only Tatum, but just the way these two teams kind of matched up with each other and the fact that the Celtics were able to hang on late, get the stops, get the buckets in 82?
That's what I liked about it the most, is that we leaned on our defense to win this basketball game. Think about it. It was a point there to where we was like, I mean, you were watching the game just like I was watching the game, and there was a point we was like, oh, we about to blow them out the water. It's over. Like, we're going to beat them by 25 points. And then before you know it, they made a valiant charge, and they played hard, and, things went their way. We didn't play that great. We missed shots, and they made shots. They got stops when they needed to, and they made shots. And then all of a sudden it became a basketball game. And when it became that basketball game, we came up with the defensive stops that we need to. We came up with the plays that we needed to. And to me, that was impressive. It wasn't about anything else. It was about the fact that, yeah, you almost squandered almost a 20-point lead, and you still found a way to win, even when the pressure got tight and it got real close. And it looked like Cleveland maybe had a chance to go 16-0, but, the Celtics had other plans for that.
Yeah, I mean, going back to it, when you said, and Eddie just mentioned it, it felt like maybe everyone was kind of relaxing with that 21-point lead. It was starting to feel like opening night against the Knicks.
Fair.
The Celtics were 14-22 from 3 in the first half. I mean, they were cruising. They were 17-25, I think 18-26 at one point, which is just to say they were over 70% there for a second, Chris.
It's just amazing that they were that efficient out of the gates against a defense that has been in the top 10, ranked 7th coming in. I like the way they moved the ball, got good shots, but to me the differentiator is when Tatum's got it going. You were pretty bullish on him coming in saying 4+ threes, and he almost had it at the half, right? Like,
I think he hit his first 5 for sure.
So he was just, when he's feeling that shot, it's just different. It changes that, how like snugged up they got to be on him out at that line, and it felt like it opened up the game for everybody else. Celtics shoot that efficient. It's hard to stay close, and credit to the Cavs for making the adjustments after the first half, and yet, that's the benefit of it. You can build that sort of cushion where you take your foot off the accelerator a little bit. It still puts you in the driver's seat.
And then going back to it, Eddie, as you mentioned, Cleveland coming back and making this thing close with the Celtics up by 21. I guess when you're on the floor, when you're in those situations, Celtics were at home, so that probably helps in this situation. But the Cavs basically had all the momentum coming back in this game to get it back within, I believe they got all the way back within 2. And I got to believe it's more challenging in those situations to kind of buckle in and say, we're getting the stops, we're getting the shots that we need to in order to hold on to this one.
Well, you just got to hunker down, and this team has not been statistically on the level that they have been in years prior, right, defensively. But they all have the guys that have the wherewithal, the know-withal. They believe and they trust each other. They give that effort, and they were out there doing it. Now, a lot of times, they were going at Kayla. You see these highlights, that's exactly who they were trying to attack, was Kayla, to try to put them in a situation and we also seen that before. You know what I mean? What game was that where when we were playing the Warriors, they constantly was putting Kayla in that action. So this is something that has to be adjusted, and it's fine. You got the win, and you can learn from a win. But I want to circle back to those three-point shots that we were looking at before that clip of our when in that third quarter when Cleveland came back. All of those shots, if you look at it, those are rhythm shots, which tells me that not only the guy that has the ball in his hands understands where his teammates are going to be, but the teammate trusts that guy will find him in rhythm, ball on time, on target, to shoot the shot and walk right into a 3. Even the inbound play, Tatum hits to the corner, right back to Tatum. Tatum walks right in. Those are things that are unspoken. You don't think about those things. You just know because you've been playing with guys long enough. And that's the great thing about this Celtics team is that we bring it back the same guys, and they have so much familiarity with each other that when you look at it, you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to. All it is a look. I could look at, and I know he's about to go back door, and I'll throw that lob for him. Or I could look, I know he's finna slide. Al's going to set a flare screen. And if Al sets a flare screen and both go to the flare, then Al's going to pop, and I can hit Al for the 3. So it's just like they're so in tune with one another. And that's the one thing that I looked at out of that clip with those 3s. That's the thing that I really like about this team is that they understand each other, they trust each other, and they believe in each other.
Yeah, and you brought up Al hitting a couple of those 3s in rhythm. He also had the 3 blocks, and he's also downstairs addressing the media following this Celtics 3-point win.
Al, the defense in recent games has been a little kind of spotty for you guys. You really stepped it up in this game. What was the difference in this one?
I think, we're more physical, more connected on the defensive end. I felt like we, just kind of met the challenge. We knew that against this team, they're playing really well, obviously, first in the East, and we knew we had to have a really good game defensively.
And you yourself had a few big defensive plays there, the blocks. Is there something like, fourth quarter, they're the undefeated team. Is there just something that made you guys kind of like rise to a different level?
That was just about finishing the job. I felt like, we played really well in the first half. In the third, they cut into the lead. In the fourth, they got in there, and it was a back and forth. And it's like, man, we put ourselves in a position. We got to finish this and see it through. So at that point, it's just you're out there just making plays and competing, and that's what I was doing.
Now, when you're playing against 2 bigs like that, does that motivate you, inspire you? I mean, you just seem like you were a young man out there, just playing against Mobley now.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I enjoy, playing in these matchups and 2, excellent players. But yeah, for me, it's just, you're competing out there, and that's what it's all about, and playing hard. And, for our team, this was important.
It seemed like the biggest challenge, obviously they're 15-0, but just like in the paint with Garland diving at the rim, Mitchell diving at the rim, and then Mobley and Allen both point. It seems like defensively maybe your biggest challenge of the year. You guys responded to that.
Yeah, I felt like we did. I felt like JT was great, rebounding the ball, keeping Allen, some of those guys off the boards. Our guards flying in, getting timely rebounds. And then, I feel like our offense on the other end was really good as well. I felt like we were able to move it well, and we got the shots that we wanted.
What did you like about how you kind of absorbed that punch in the third quarter and just kind of responded and didn't get too shook up that?
Yeah, we just stayed poised, and we understood that that's a really good team over there. We knew they were going to make a run, and we just had to stay with it. And then to what I was saying earlier is like once you're in that position, you just have to find a way to get it done and get the win.
This is what you're supposed to drink after the game. It's not.
Is it really?
I think so.
Questions for Jayson and Derrick?
This question's for both of you. Jayson, we'll start with you. Joe was praising Al's leadership and his ability to inspire. You've called him your favorite teammate. Tonight he had 20 points and 3 blocks, which are both season highs.
We've been through more shit together.
Tonight
He's like my second favorite teammate.
Oh, good. Tonight he had 20 points and 3 blocks, which are both season highs. How does his leadership resonate with you guys?
I think Al's just a calming presence out there. He just does so many different things for us. Sometimes they still show up in the stat sheet, and sometimes they don't. But just him being on the court with us helps with our spacing, helps with our defense. He's such a good passer, willing passer. So we're just a much better team when Al is out there and being aggressive.
For either of you guys, Joe mentioned the intentionality you guys played with tonight. It felt like from the jump you guys were just attacking mismatches, cutting off passing lanes like a lot more deliberately and a lot more often. Was that something you were focusing on going into the game because, you wanted to make steady progress throughout the season, or was it more of like you saw this as a big matchup because of the NBA Cup and they were undefeated going into it?
I think every game we're just trying to be deliberate on what we're trying to do offensively and just creating an advantage and making the right read off of that. So, things change during the game and we make adjustments, and I think we did a good job of just kind of adjusting on the fly to what we want to do and what was working for us.
Was there any, did you guys talk about the fact that they were undefeated? Was there any extra motivation between you guys as a team, wanting to be that first loss for them?
Yeah, we knew. I think everybody knew that they were undefeated, and coming to our building, and also it's an NBA Cup game. We already lost one game, so it was a really big game in that aspect. So we were all aware.
Jayson, there's that play off the Horford block. You get the ball and you zip it right back to Derrick. Derrick, you pull up for the 3, and there's plays like that where you just are in sync. This group's been together for so long. What role does trust play with your success with the ball?
I think, like you said, we've been in so many moments together, so many big games, that we don't do anything spectacular. We just do the simple things. We do the right reads all the time, or most of the time, whether it's cup game, a regular season game, or in the finals. We know where each other is supposed to be. We work on reads all the time in practice, and regardless of how the game is going or the shots are falling, just all about making the right read, and the game will reward that.
First question for Derrick: is that your drink that you use to stay hydrated during the games?
Oof.
No, not at all.
You got kids.
Water, Gatorade. Gatorade's a great beverage.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then for JT, Cleveland, they learned a lot of lessons from their series against you last year. They've changed how they operate this year. What did you see that was similar? What did you see that was different about how they tried to go against you?
I think, for one, they very well coached. Right, they got a new coaching staff and things like that. I think they're just playing a lot faster and more free this year. The ball's not necessarily sticking, so they just put a lot of pressure on you. Then they have guys that individually can make plays. And, you know, they're a bigger team, and they've just been playing really well. So you add all that with confidence, and, you know, they've had the best start to the season so far.
Jayson and Derrick, what do you think it's going to be like Thursday when you go to the White House and you celebrate the World Championship?
I just answered the question.
I think it's going to be fun. I mean, that's something that growing up, you see teams that won championship go to the White House and just kind of celebrate that moment together, and just going to be one of those teams that won a championship and then go to the White House and to celebrate with a great team and great people. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, same. You bring your ring? Tripping. I'm bringing mine. To the pictures. Too cool to wear?
I'll think about it.
This guy.
I didn't know that was a thing. It's good to know.
When else you going to the White House?
What do you think it'll be like?
Huh?
What do you think it will be like just to celebrate the championship?
I mean, I think it'll be cool. It's one of the perks of being a champion is going to the White House. And like you said, you've seen all the former teams, or most of the former teams attend. So we'll have that moment and take pictures and videos, and something that, you know, will last a lifetime.
Along those lines, similar question, like, what are you looking forward to most about that experience? Like, it's kind of a unique thing, you know, going there after a championship, and, you know, probably something that, you know, it's like one of those moments on 2K when you win.
Shout out to 2K.
I think it's going to be just fun just being with the team. I mean, obviously, we're always close and we're always together. And so just another thing that we can all do together and just kind of enjoy that moment as a team.
Jayson, what did you guys do to withstand? I mean, they cut a 21-point lead to 2 in about 7 minutes. What did you guys do to kind of withstand that and fight back? Like, obviously, they were going to test your mettle there. What did you guys do to get the win?
It's simple. We just locked in on defense. We've been in that situation a million times where it's like, you know, it's time to win. It's time to lock in, you know, guard your yard, help each other on defense, get a stop, go down on offense and find out who we're trying to attack, where we need to put guys at and make the right play. So, like I said, we just do the simple things really well, really often.
Okay, Abigail.
Sorry.
Segment 2.
Yes, Christopher. Oh.
We are. You are off to D.C.
I am.
Are you excited? Are you going to bring the ring to the White House?
I am so excited. I, again, am concerned about traveling with this thing
no
and
problem.
not losing it. So, and the box is big.
Fair.
So to fit in my luggage that is already packed, slammed full, I'm considering it. It's under consideration. But yes, the Celtics making a trip to the White House. I did some research today.
I was going to say, what do you know? Because no one seems to have any idea.
Oh, I don't know anything about the trip.
Oh, okay,
no one
go
tells
ahead.
us until I know that.
There's a secret email
I will
coming,
just be
evidently.
part of the media contingent. We will not receive any sort of information until 24 hours prior, and I have no reason to think that I will not pass the background check. So fingers crossed. You know, I have no reason to believe I won't.
You hesitated.
I wanted to tell my story about
Yes.
what I learned today
Mhm.
is the Celtics' most famous trip to the White House happened in 1963.
The Satch Sanders?
Yes.
Stay cool, baby?
With John F. Kennedy.
Mhm.
Boston's own John F. Kennedy. Satch, the way he tells it, Kennedy pulled the entire team into the cabinet room and asked them all to sit at the seats of the various secretaries and then asked them all questions.
That's kind of cool.
Coos got to be Secretary of State. And he kept him in there for like nearly an hour.
Oh my God.
And all of JFK's assistants and people were like, "Can you stop? What?" And he just, JFK was like, gave him the stiff arm and said,
every day you learn
having
something
fun right now.
Every day you learn something new about how cool JFK was.
So that's why Satch felt comfortable enough to be, what do you say?
I think it was stay cool, baby.
Stay cool, baby.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Stay
He
fresh,
called
baby.
the president of the United States baby. It's pretty awesome. And I'm
Do
sure
you
JFK
think,
loved
do you
it.
think any of the current Celtics, who is the Celtic? Okay, let's do this. Who is the Celtic most likely to say to Joe Biden, stay cool, baby?
Ooh. I I want to say Jaylen Brown.
Fair.
Right?
Who
else would have the...
Luke Cornett.
No. Luke is playing it very straight this year.
No chance.
I know. He had some celebrations a couple games ago, but he's keeping it very straight this year. And I'm not enjoying it. I miss real Luke.
Bring back
funny Luke.
Bring back funny Luke.
Bring back funny Luke.
All right.
What do you think? Who would be your guess?
I was going to say, I think Luke would be like, he's going to, at first he'll be very buttoned up, and then he's going to be like, we've been here for a little bit. Let's have some fun. Throw some stuff out there.
Okay.
Jalen's a good guess, though.
I mean, Derrick has the personality for it, but he's kind of, I don't think he would.
Would he bring some white ale to the
White House?
Yes.
I'm
Let's
pretty
talk
sure Derrick brings white ale everywhere.
Evidently brought to the podium.
Exactly.
Let's wrap on this. Celtics play the Washington Wizards in another NBA Cup game, which has sort of some big magnitude.
Well, 4-point differential.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well,
yes,
they gotta
have to get the win.
Right.
Right.
To have a chance. And then you're already down. I think the Cavs are at 15. I forget what the Hawks are at. But you need to essentially, if you're going to end up in a three-way tie, Cavs, Celtics, and Hawks all 2-1, and you need the Cavs to beat the Hawks. 3-1.
Right. And then
too many games.
you need-
Then
Right. The
they will
Cavs
go to
to
point
beat the
differential, and we'll see how that plays itself out.
But the point differential also important that if the Celtics don't win their own group, they can still win a wild card spot coming out of the East.
But
So yes, they need to run up that score against the win.
I was kind of hoping
and run
that
up
we'd get
that
to see this
score
court again.
against the Wizards.
Sexy little court.
True. I
behind.
do like the court.
It's different. I keep telling people this. It's different in person than it is on TV. Because like on TV, it's very like the camera angle. You're like, oh.
I like it. And it feels brighter when you're standing on it than it does. I feel like when you look from afar,
Fair.
But I like it.
I like it too.
I
don't want it
do you
every
like
night. I don't want it every night.
No. Do you like the City Edition uniforms?
They are nice.
Action green.
Do you know what I like about them?
What do you like?
They say Celtics on them.
Hardy hard.
I've been a proponent of some neon or something funky, so I would be a hypocrite to say.
I saw a lot of them in the stands tonight.
Yeah, you know what? Like all those jerseys typically sell well, and that's good. People want something new, something fresh, and so even though all the Twitter army out there is like, oh, it's not Celtic green.
That may be why they do this.
Yes, that's why they do it. So people go buy something different. You can't use Kelly green on everything, or whatever green it is, and shamrock green, and whatever color your ring is.
Gold and diamonds. Diamonds.
All right, we had
are
enough. All right.
forever.
Okay, now we've definitely reached the end of the night. I need everybody to go like, subscribe, check us out on the YouTube page, because this podcast is 100 times better when you can see Abby floating about with her ring, levitating.
Joe also Missoula pregame tonight.
Here we go.
So kind.
Really?
I think he was in a good mood. He knew they were ready. It just when you start the night off that way, it really can't get any better. Well, when you start the night off receiving your championship ring, and then Joe
Like,
Missoula
subscribe, check us out on the
kindly
YouTube
answers your
page.
questions.
We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.
Riding high.